time-travelling ghost Indian, Roger is still an idiot, and Brianna has her baby. All that is coming up in today's episode of Outlander Sunday with me, Shaun. Hello everybody, how are you doing and welcome to today's episode. My name is Shaun and I am a vlogger from Edinburgh in Scotland, and I talk all about Scottish culture on my channel, and of course I talk about Outlander, and it is the finale, the grand finale. It is over, I have seen it. Droughtlander, at least for me, and all of you guys presumably who are watching, has now begun. Sad, sad times. Hello darkness, my old friend. It has been a roller coaster season 4, undoubtedly. We'll talk a lot about the goods and the bads of the season over the course of the next days and weeks, but it has been a roller coaster ride. Nobody can deny that. It has been great. I've really enjoyed being part of the process of really watching it and kind of interacting with you guys on this channel, talking about Outlander, reviewing the episode and getting your opinions week in, week out over the last 13 weeks. It's been fascinating, and it started for me back in New York in October 2018 at the launch of the whole season at Comic-Con in New York. Today's episode, which we're reviewing now, definitely one of the better ones. The season as a whole, we'll get into that in a little bit. But first of all, I just want to say welcome everybody. If you're new here, where have you been? It's about time you joined in. It's great to have you here nonetheless, and I hope you can hit that subscribe button down in the corner so that you will be part of the family from here on in. It is great to have you all here. Thank you so much for joining in and sticking with me week in, week out. It's just been great to talk about Outlander after I've seen the show with somebody, and that is what these videos have been about, really discussing the show with you guys and like just getting things off my mind. But like I say, we have come to the end. It is episode 13 today, Man of Worth, and it is the finale. That is it. We've watched it all and it's done.
Any sign of Roger?
I'm going back for him.
They're actually starting the production of this season of Outlander much later than they did last year, which tells me that Outlander season 5 is going to be some ways off. I don't think we're going to see it this year, guys. I think Outlander season 5 is only going to be in 2020. Can we wait that long? I don't know. Droughtlander this time is going to be brutal. I know that for sure. We'll get through it somehow. But like, this Outlander review will be the last on my channel for a very, very long time as well. I really, truly hope from the bottom of my heart that you guys can stick around after these review videos are done, stay on this channel and see all the other awesome content I'm going to be coming up with for you guys. And if you are interested in what I'm up to in my day-to-day life here in Scotland, make sure you follow me on Instagram. You'll see a lot of cool stuff over there as well. And please guys, don't forget to consider supporting my content on patreon.com/ShaunVlog. You can do that from as little as $1 a month, and all of that goes back in towards helping me make these videos. And lastly, listen, I'm really excited about this. As soon as this video is done today and edited and published, I'm going to be doing a live talk show on my other channel, my live streaming platform channel, all about season 4 in general, right? So after you've watched this video, click on the link down in the comments. It should be pinned to the top, and that will take you to my live stream, which I will be broadcasting tonight, Sunday, the end of episode 13, by which time hopefully a lot of you guys will have already seen the episode. Anyway, there is a lot to talk about. There's a lot for us to discuss in this week's episode. There was a lot of information packed into this episode. I think at this stage in proceedings, they had to think about concluding some storylines that were building and had been building up until now. And I kind of expected, and I know a lot of you guys who read the books out there also expected this, that they wouldn't get anywhere close to finishing what was in the book for the season, and they would be left with some kind of massive, ugly cliffhanger that would torture us for the next year or something. So let's get to how they got to that part and what kind of cliffhanger we got, right? The episode opened with this image of a native Indian in modern times. There was kids running around all clothed with like jeans and like normal clothes, and this native American Indian man was looking quite upset and angry. And I'm like, well, what on earth is this all about? Has someone went back through time that we know of? Because we do know about the stones that are in America, in that region where they are wandering and roaming. And like, where does that take you to? And I think like we found the answer because we've seen this man before. We saw him when Claire found the skull. He was the Indian ghost. And now he is back in time. Would that come back to us? We're not really sure, but we get moving on. Jamie, Claire and young Ian have actually located the place where Roger is, right? There's all kinds of scenarios that could play out when they find Roger. Will the Indians deny knowledge of his existence? Young Ian led the charge with this because he knows how to speak some of the language. and he was like trying to negotiate with them, and like everything was seeming to go quite smoothly until the point where some of the tribe members saw that Claire was wearing the necklace with that stone that she had got from the native Indian skull that she found, and it came with this gemstone and she had it around her neck, and that immediately spooked the people of the Mohawk tribe, and they were like, we're not dealing with you guys, get out of our camp immediately. And it came very extremely close to boiling over, to be honest with you, at some points. But Jamie, Claire and young Ian left empty-handed. I was like, it's kind of strange that they're leaving without a fight. But I was thinking to myself, Jamie, I bet he has got a plan. We're then taken back to River Run and Aunt Jocasta's place. Murtagh is there speaking with her. She doesn't really like the fact that he's been involved with the regulators. She has definitely lost all of her Scottish fighting spirit. The rebellious side is gone. I don't know if she ever had it, to be honest, because we don't really know her that long, but Murtagh certainly seems to think so. He is talking to her about it and she's furious with what he's doing. Murtagh and Jocasta are not finished with that discussion, right? But then Jocasta tells him the story of how Brianna is engaged to Lord John Grey, and Murtagh obviously is very, very upset and distressed by that fact. I absolutely loved the line, guys. I was floored when Murtagh turned around and said to her, I know you're awfully fond of marriage. It was just so funny because, like, the things that we know about Jocasta, if we've not read the books, is the fact that she has been married several times. And it was obviously her that put Brianna up to this marriage. But anyway, Murtagh finds his way to Brianna and they have this discussion, and eventually Brianna tells him the story that it's basically a sham marriage. This is just to tide things over until the baby comes, until Roger hopefully comes back. But I think there was this awesome conversation that was had with Brianna and Murtagh. He is the hero of men in our eyes. He just looks after the whole family, and now he's looking after Brianna, giving her guidance about what she should do in future, telling her to forgive Jamie, and it was just a really sweet moment. But things were going to boil over with Jocasta eventually because of that discussion. They have their talks, right? And about what Murtagh plans to do. Murtagh's like, I'm fighting for the rights of men here. This is the rights of freedom that we should all have, and we have been fighting against ever since Scotland. Murtagh seems really surprised that Jocasta is so dismissive of him. Murtagh is a rebel through and through. He has not lost it. He wants to continue his fight with the regulators. But Jocasta is increasingly displeased with this chat. She isn't having any of it, and it almost feels like she's now embedded deeply within the system of the British control, really. But I do think one thing, having seen this discussion with Murtagh and Jocasta, we can safely say that Murtagh has made it to the end of the season. I did say to you guys numerous times throughout the season that now that Murtagh was back, I don't think he will actually make it to the end of the season. I thought the regulator activities he was up to would see the death of him, but now they escaped prison, I kind of feel like he's definitely safe to the end of the season, absolutely at a minimum. Maybe not if Jocasta's got anything to do with it, but like they're having this ugly, ugly fight, and then she just comes out with this thing about actually he's just trouble, Murtagh, and that she'd never liked him ever in the first place. He was always with the Fraser family or the Mackenzie family and causing trouble. I was really shocked that she said that, right? And I was just thinking, this is going to be one heck of an argument. Murtagh's going to have to leave. And this was genius. The producers cut the scene there at the height of the fight, and they ended up in bed together. I don't know what you guys thought, but I thought that was pretty clever and pretty awesome. Because I know that Murtagh wasn't in the books, right? I didn't read the books this stage, but I know he wasn't in the books. So this story is new to everybody, and I think that's cool. This is something that both the book readers and people who have just seen the TV show can enjoy for the first time. This relationship now between Murtagh and Jocasta. A lot of you guys have been hinting of where it might go, because Jocasta apparently in the books gets married again. And like, could that be Murtagh? And actually, I watched the director's cut after the episode. I would advise you guys to go and do the same, right? And they all said quite gleefully that this romance story now gives the producers quite a lot of legroom to do a lot of different things with in future. And that's quite promising, because that means to me that Murtagh actually, I was wrong, totally. Murtagh is a solid character throughout Outlander and will be in the future. But I'd actually love to know your theories as to where that goes. Does Murtagh in fact end up on the hangman's noose? I guess we'll just have to wait and see in that, but that is an interesting storyline. We're back in the camp. Jamie is trying to formulate some kind of plan to go back at night and rescue Roger. But they don't get very far with planning, because they're all ambushed by a group of Indians who have come from the Mohawk. I think there's about 6 or 7 of them, and all they want is Claire's stone that she's got around her neck. It's very important to them. We don't know why yet, but we're about to find out. They go from being very violent and angry. Claire, with her genius charm, manages to calm them, and they end up just having a campfire discussion. They look like friends all of a sudden. And then we get the whole story of that stone and why it is important, about this man who was actually called Ottertooth, and he was the ghost man, the man that Claire found his skull with the silver tooth.
Many years ago, before I was born, a man came to us. He talked of war.
He's a time traveler. He was the guy at the start of the show because he has went forward in time and he knows what happens to native peoples in the Americas, right? And his mission is to go back in time and warn his family members that actually this is what's going to happen and we need to kill all white people because they'll kill us. But this group that had ambushed Jamie, Claire and young Ian, they actually believed in him and they wanted to continue the fight really, and they saw this stone as like a key, a gateway to that. They thought if they walked with the stone, the spirit of Ottertooth would be with them. And that kind of explains why Claire saw the ghost. I like that element of the time travel and people who know the future and come back to warn people. It's kind of exciting. So for some reason, the Indian members who had tried to ambush Jamie, Claire and Ian are actually going to help them now. In exchange for them giving over the stone that Claire has around her neck, they're going to help save Roger. And that's exactly what they do. They lead the guys right into the camp, into Roger's tent, and then have this confrontation moment quickly where Roger's like, oh my god, there's Jamie, but Claire's there to calm him down, luckily. They get him out, and then there's this big, crazy, fiery scene of all the tribesmen who had seen what was going on, pursuing them. Jamie had this stick of fire, he was waving a sword with the other hand, cutting people down. I did find this totally unrealistic, because it seemed people died in that confrontation, right? Definitely died. Both at the hands of Jamie, and also, even more unbelievably, the Mohawks' own tribespeople who were helping Jamie, Claire and Ian by killing their own people. That seemed implausible. If I can't get past that, the show is totally spoiled, right? Let's just accept the fact that these people were willing to walk into their own family and tribe and kill them to help Jamie, Claire and Ian, just because of this stone. Once a whole tribe had surrounded them and caught them all red-handed, they were expelled from the tribe as well. But you would think that the tribe would be much angrier at these family members who basically had betrayed their own. So yeah, that was kind of crazy. But anyway, let's just get past that. Because Roger's there, young Ian's there, Claire and Jamie are there. They're all on the floor, and the tribe is like, you can go free, but you're not having Roger. Jamie said he's going to sacrifice himself. He's going to give himself over to the Mohawks in exchange for Roger. We're thinking that's how this is going to go. We're going to say goodbye to Jamie at this point in the series. That is going to be the tragedy that we're going to feel at the end of season 4, is the fact that Jamie is now separated from Claire again. And by the way, I was thinking that is exactly what was going to happen because we have got history in that, right? How many times has Jamie and Claire been separated against their will and they've been trying to get back together? Thankfully, they didn't go down that route. But what actually happened, I think, was even more potentially heartbreaking, is the fact that young Ian offered himself for Roger, that he was going to be the one, stayed with the Mohawks. And those scenes where young Ian is giving himself over and saying bye to Claire and Jamie and Roger is just like unbelievable. The acting from all involved in that scene was sensational, superb. I absolutely loved how they did it. And another good thing about the scene is we got really good vibes, I think, from the fact that young Ian seemed to be in safe hands. He was like, Jamie, you're not to come back for me. I'm staying here now. This is my decision. I want to stay with the Indians. I want to stay with the Mohawk and learn their ways, basically. That's what he was trying to say. But they agree to it. They walk off. I'm thinking to myself, though, young Ian, the key principal fact for this whole season, that he shouldn't really be there in North America in the first place, right? His mum and dad were worried sick. Jamie is basically in charge of looking after him. So I think like to let him go that easily is a little bit unbelievable as well, because his mum and dad would, I think, be absolutely furious by this development. Like, they need to be looked after by Jamie, like the family. I know he's a competent young man and I think he's grown into this. And also, this is where the name of the episode comes from. The man of worth was young Ian. He had come of age, he is now a man. And he's going to go off on his own now to live with the Mohawk. Anyway, we go off into the woods. Jamie, Claire and Roger now. They've saved Roger, but they've got so much to talk about. And I wasn't expecting what was about to happen. Roger and Jamie get in this fist fight. Claire's trying to stop it and Jamie is like, no, I deserve this. I'm going to take a beating here. He has a go at Jamie, he's punching him. And then we see a flip to another violent scene, and it's young Ian. He is now running the gauntlet, just like Roger had a couple of weeks prior. What an awesome scene that was on the young Ian part, because he looked like he was having fun with it. He wasn't scared of it. I think he knew what to expect. He was jumping over people, he was beating people himself. It's like a superstar. It was almost like watching Gladiators. I don't know if you ever watched that Gladiator show. It's like a reality TV show where people have to basically run a gauntlet against these gladiators and make it past them in exchange for fame and money. Not the same. But anyway, young Ian did a great job. He made it to the end of the gauntlet and he was just like accepted into the tribe in this way, and he was so happy about it. He was doing Mohawk calls and everything. He had this huge smile on his face and was just thinking, young Ian, that's him, that's his new life. He's going to love it. That's what he's going to do with himself now. He's going to become a Mohawk. He doesn't actually need saving from Jamie and Claire. Not that his parents will say it that way. when they finally find out. I wouldn't like to be a fly in the wall in that conversation. But anyway, that is a storyline developing all on its own. Meanwhile, Roger and Jamie have been having it out. Roger's finding out why he took the beating from Jamie in the first place, why all this happened. And then he's given the story about Brianna, Stephen Bonnet, the fact that she's pregnant, and that the baby might not be his. And he's basically given a choice by Jamie and Claire, like, because he has these gemstones, he could go back through the stones now. He's told that Brianna can't, so he's basically got this decision. Does he stay in that time and go back with Claire and Jamie to Brianna, or does he go? Jamie is respectful of the fact that he's going to let him make his own decision, but he's bloody furious about it because basically, and Roger needed these home truths, he should not have left her under any circumstances. No. I know a lot of people are feeling sorry for Roger and poor Roger and all that, but what he did was ridiculously stupid. Considering the dangerous times that they were in, why would he leave Brianna there? It is his fault, he needs to take that responsibility. And Claire and Jamie are reluctantly letting him make that choice. Does he go back in time, back to safety, back to warmth and comfort, or does he go the hard route to Brianna? Which version of the idiot Roger is he going to be? Meanwhile, back at River Run, Brianna's having her baby. Claire and Jamie obviously are not there to witness it, to be there, be a part of it, but she has her baby, it's a boy. And then the big moment, I think, of this episode came about. Jamie and Claire have arrived at River Run. Brianna goes out to greet them, and Roger's not there. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. I was literally shocked. I was gobsmacked. Roger had chose to run. I was like, Roger is not only an idiot, he's a selfish, horrible little creature now. I can't believe Roger's done this. He's let us all down. Wow, I was angry. How could you do this to us, Roger? This is 2 months later. The whole family get together around the table. It was a nice moment. I think Brianna slowly comes to terms with the fact that Roger isn't there. But Claire, Jamie, Murtagh, Jocasta, and Brianna are all there at a dinner table. They're eating, and like it seems like a bit of a happy family. It was a nice moment to see that. A bit of light tension relief. I looked at the time on the episode at this point. I'm thinking, there's only a few minutes left. How is this going to play? Please don't be what I think it's going to be. Please don't be some kind of nasty cliffhanger. And I was just waiting for it. I was waiting for it. What's it going to be? Then we see a horseman, right? We see a horseman coming into view of River Run, and Brianna sees and runs out, and I'm thinking, this is the cliffhanger. It's going to come now, but we're not going to know who it is. It's going to be either Roger or it's going to be Lord John Grey. I was thinking it could only be one of those two. And then they put us out of our misery. It was Roger. He was back. He had actually finally made the right choice. They came together, had this big reunion, and everything seemed well again, and we're like, ah, Roger, okay. You almost ruined it for us. Almost ruined everything. But you're back, and that is what counts. We'll let you off of it. We're not so sure what Jamie and Claire are going to be thinking of him after that, though, to be honest with you. Because he must have let them down something awful on their journey back to River Run, and they must have been furious and boiling over this. But he's back, and he says the key lines. He might be stubborn, but he's no fool. You almost had us, Roger. You almost had us thinking you're a fool as well. And I think he did act foolish quite a lot of times throughout the season. But there you go. He's back, and he says to Brianna, take me to see my son. Nice moment there to cap that off. But the drama is not over. We're not going to be left with this happy ending. Redcoats arrive on horse to go to River Run. What is going on here? Are they after Murtagh? I expected so, but they get there and it's actually a letter for Jamie. From Lord Tryon, right? Asking him to be the head of a militia that's going to fight against the regulators. And the first job of his new role is going to be to hunt after and to kill Murtagh Fitzgibbons. And I'm thinking, here we go. This is the cliffhanger. This is what we're not going to be sure how this is going to play out. Murtagh had been hidden in the house, so they weren't going to find him there. And presumably they ride off. But basically Jamie has been given this order, if you like. I don't think Lord Tryon would accept a no from this, but he wants him to be the head of an army, essentially, to look after, to take care, to deal with the regulators, and first of all, Murtagh. So that is what we're left into next season. There's a number of storylines developing here. First of all, I think the story of young Ian, that's not over. Like, we're going to see how he plays out as a Mohawk, what adventures he gets up to. I think that's going to be fascinating. And by the way, Rollo is with him. At least Rollo's with him. But I want him to be part of it. I want to see him next season. And I'm sure he will be. I'm sure that adventure will continue. We have not seen the last of young Ian. I think it's going to take us a while into the next season before we see him again. We'll be held in suspense. The other big storyline I think we've got into next season is the romance between Murtagh and Jocasta. A lot of people have said this, spoilers into my comments, that Jocasta gets married again, like I said earlier on, and Murtagh will probably take the place of the person who she actually is supposed to get married to in the books. But I think the fact that the producers said that they have got something to play with now with that relationship that is going to continue. Jamie is obviously not going to do anything to help Murtagh be captured. No way. What Jamie, I think, is going to do, this other storyline of Jamie going off to fight again, is he's going to spend the next early part of next season doing everything he can to put off his own army from trying to find Murtagh. He's going to lead them on a wild goose chase. I am convinced that is what's going to happen. Maybe Lord Tryon discovers how much Jamie and Murtagh are connected. But for goodness sake, Murtagh, please just do us all a favour. Listen to Jocasta. We know you're a rebel, but this is not going to end well. We don't want it to go the way I think it could happen. Just keep your head down and listen to Jocasta. And lastly, the next big storyline that will continue is this reunion, continued reunion of Roger and Brianna and their new baby now as well. I thought the cliffhanger was a lot weaker than we were going to get. I'm actually pretty thankful for that, to be honest with you. And it was a good episode, really, really good episode. I enjoyed it a lot. I think this season, if we have to look at the season as a whole, I've said this before, I've been very open and honest with you guys about this. I have not enjoyed season 4. It's not the same Outlander that I fell in love with in season 1 and 2. And I do think a part of that is the Scotland story. Scotland was such a big character for me. And I know these are still Scottish people. I don't know what it is. I'm just not enjoyed this season as much as season 1 and 2. There have been great episodes and great moments throughout. We've seen new characters. We've seen old characters come back. There's been a lot of good points about the season. But one thing I will say, right? As much as I've not just enjoyed the vibe of the season, the acting has grown spectacular, more and more spectacular as the seasons have got on. They have been absolutely sensational and amazing. Costume design, sets have just been mind-blowing as well. We cannot argue against that. And I think also Scotland has done a really good job of filling in for North Carolina. And I would just like to applaud all the writers and all the producers involved in putting this together. But like, sometimes it's like that. Sometimes the shows, like, you fall in love with them for a reason. And my reason was seeing Scotland and some landmarks I knew about the clan systems and how they fought. And I do accept the fact that that was over by the time they had moved to North America because of Claudin and all that kind of stuff. I accept that. I just enjoyed season 1 and 2 at a level that I find hard to even put over in words. And I haven't felt that this season. Yeah. And I know there are a lot of other people out there that feel the same as me. But anyway, that doesn't mean I'm not going to watch. I'm still going to watch in the future, absolutely. It's been a great show. And like, it's just meant a lot. So yeah. Onwards and upwards. I really hope you guys will follow and continue my journeys, my adventures, now that Outlander's over. And Outlander, you've got something to watch. It's me. Come and check my channel out every single week. I've got a lot of new content coming for you guys that I'm so excited about. And just remember to keep in touch. One of the greatest things about Outlander for me is the awesome community of Outlander fans I have got to know over the time. Whether I'll be doing tours with them, there's information about the tours I'll be doing down below, or just discussing Outlander. You can come and talk to me on Instagram, send me a direct message, or Facebook, or Twitter, or wherever you are on the internet. Find me there and we can discuss Outlander. As always, I would love to know your thoughts on all of this down in the comments below. And I've really got nothing more to say about this episode. Thank you so much for being part of this journey. It's been great, it's been amazing. All that is left to say is thank you very much, and until the next adventure, I hope you have a good night, morning, evening, afternoon, or whatever time of day it is, wherever you are in the world. Take care.